So is there a way to address this issue of it's hard to do and it's somewhat complex and they don't have the skills by creating this platform? Now, as you know, we announced this thing called the Blue Business Platform. We have experience with platforms in IBM. I mentioned the 36 and the AS400. We could talk about Linux. We could talk about the internet. We could talk about all sorts of things where we have lots of platform experience across the IBM company. And we just think there's a way that through collaboration together, we could create something pretty interesting. We could create an application marketplace where clearly you all would have the expertise. We could do the demand generation, some of the marketing demands, some of the technical support required. Some of it will be on-premise, some will be in the cloud, whatever the cloud happens to be. All those things will tend to emerge. But there certainly is an opportunity for us to go create a new way of business to kind of address some of the fundamental issues associated with this general business environment. So, industry, sub-industry focus, collaboration together with our partners, as well as building a Google-like, as Eric walks in, I'll time my words very carefully here, but Google-like technical infrastructure so that we can provide this application marketplace together. It's new. Like all the things in this area that are evolving, it takes something that's been very, very successful in the consumer portion of the marketplace, and we try now, let's move it over and see how it applies from a small, mid-sized company point of view. But fundamentally, so we've always been attentive to these sorts of things and try to see if they extend and they can apply. And that's kind of a technology point of view, and then there's obviously the business model dimension there as well. But in the technology point of view, we sort of we're looking at this and saying, okay, is there a logical way that in enterprises they try to get scale and virtualization to do it in their world, called behind the firewall, in a secure way that they can protect the transaction code, the information identity, et cetera, that when you're out there in the public networks and doing other things you're insensitive to, is there a way to do that? So that was sort of observation of technology, how it's applied. And quite honestly, as you look at this Blue Platform, we're now announcing that hopefully our partners will put their application marketplace on. It is fundamentally a cloud. We'll operate the cloud. That is what it is, right? We've learned a lot together here. We'll make it available to our partners, and hopefully they can sell on top of that their various kinds of services and offerings. So to us, it's the first instantiation of taking something that was pretty much consumer. We're going to use our own economic purposes with our partners, and also looking at areas, especially a lot of these large enterprises have thousands and thousands of these traffic-based services, just pointing things to the back end. And is there a way to kind of apply the technology there? So that was kind of how we thought of that, as a place to learn that we could then apply elsewhere.
My own prediction is that there will not be that much difference between the consumer architectures and the enterprise architectures. There's one fundamental difference between enterprise and consumers, which is that the enterprise customer will pay for things that the consumer will not, and the enterprise customer has a very real need for greater security and greater quality of service, and that you can build a business where you charge for those, and they're willing to pay for it, and it's a good business decision for them. And again, if I go back to the virtualization that IBM did starting 15 years ago or so, traditional data centers done off-site, you see that IBM has sort of figured out how to do this. Google is also trying to do this with some lower-level services, where again they're free for unsupported use, but there's a modest fee for supported use. And that model seems to be coming along. I think it's a new model for the enterprise.